What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to a brand new video. Now today you join me inside the all new Mercedes Benz C-Class, so the W206 generation. And man, oh man, before the video even begins, I'm already stunned with this vehicle. Now yeah, big thanks to Mercedes Mercurius, which is the local Mercedes-Benz dealership out here in Zanin, for allowing me this opportunity to come and film with their demo model. Yeah, there's a lot to go through with this video. I'm pretty sure this might be one of my longest videos ever because I want to show you guys a lot of the features on this vehicle. But yeah, I really do hope you guys are prepared. But nonetheless, I do hope you guys enjoy this video. And yeah, let's get into it. So guys, the all new C-Class. Now take note before we jump into the video, we're shooting literally by a public road and I'm pretty sure you could hear all that noise. There's only so much that I can control in terms of the environments I shoot in, and this was the only location I can take up. Now you will hear some cars passing in the background, maybe you'll hear people speaking and so on, but I'll try to be as audible as possible. Now this is the all new Mercedes Benz C-Class. I think one of the most popular models in the entire Mercedes Benz lineup. I think there was a time where the C-Class was literally the best-selling model until when SUVs started becoming popular. I think now the most popular might be the GLC, which is still based on the C-Class. Now I'm going to run you guys through all the features of this vehicle. I am told that this is literally fully spec'd and it's literally impossible for me to remember every single feature because this thing is just insane. Now what I'll also do is that I'll put a link down in the description below that shows you the listing of all the options that you can get on this vehicle. Now the link leads you to the mercedes-benz.co.za page, which is the website for the Mercedes-Benz SA. Now this specific car is the AMG-Line and it is the C200. Now, I'm pretty sure you can hear this truck that's passing here. It's really loud. I'm really sorry about that. There isn't much I can do about it. Now this specific car is the C200, like I already mentioned, and it is the AMG-Line. Now I'll first run you through all the features that come with the AMG-Line, both on the exterior and on the interior, and we'll talk about the rest of the car. We'll also talk about the pricings, the engine options, and so on, and then in the end we'll go for a drive. Now the AMG-Line, starting on the front, you get the diamond grille. So this is the new generation diamond grille, and I love what they did with this newer one because the tiny stars are literally the Mercedes star symbol, which is really cool. They are dotted everywhere. So you get the the diamond grille with the AMG-Line. You get a more aggressive bumper that is literally protruding more. It's deeper to add to that aggression, and it has these fins down here and it has what looks like openings for, you know, the intakes and so on, but the actual openings are reserved for the AMG cars, the C43 and the C63. Now, as standard, the car comes with multi-beam LED lights, but you can upgrade to the multi-beam plus lights, which are also adaptive. Literally, you can upgrade to digital lights, and these are actually the digital lights, as you can see down there. I'm not sure if you guys can see, but they literally say digital light down there, and they can do all sorts of clever things like reflect some lights on the walls when you start the car. They do all sorts of dancing things, and they're literally insane. Now, coming around to the side, you get these multi-spoke 19-inch wheels, which are the AMG specific wheels. Now again, these come with the AMG line package. On the side, coming around to the side, you get more aggressive side skirts, which literally stuck out the car, and they just look more mean and so on. Now, this car is also spec'd with the night package, and you get black mirrors. You also get black surrounds on what is supposedly the chrome touches instead. Now, the night package is separate from the AMG line, so it's an extra cost on top of the AMG line. Coming around to the back, you have this subtle boot lip spoiler with the AMG line, and you have a more aggressive bumper on the back and what looks like big exhaust tail lights. But if you look closely, they lead nowhere. No comment on that. Now, coming around to the side, we'll jump into the interior. So on the interior, you get AMG floor mats. You also get AMG specific sport seats, which are Dynamica in the middle and leather on the outer areas. Dynamica is Mercedes term for Alcantara, so they are Alcantara in the middle, which is absolutely cool. Now, if I step inside, I think the last AMG feature on the interior is the steering wheel. So you get this AMG specific steering wheel, which has perforations on the grip points, and it has AMG specific spokes, and it looks absolutely cool. Now, the interior of this car is absolutely wow. Actually, before I get into the overall features of this interior, now remember we were talking about the AMG line. That is literally all the features of the AMG line, and the AMG line costs 54,000 rands to get. So yeah, it's pretty expensive, but it does come with a lot of nice looking features. It is mainly cosmetic. Now, back to the overall interior of this vehicle. It is literally the one word to describe this interior is just wow, because it is stunning. The design is literally class leading. I think in this class there is no interior that is better than this one. Well, in terms of aesthetics and the overall design, like the way you have this giant 11.9-inch screen right here, the way that dashboard flows down and it kind of integrates into the screen, it literally looks like a waterfall. Like, it looks insane. You also get this beautiful ambient lighting, as you can see the blue hue right there, and the ambient lighting is literally everywhere, also into the vents. You guys won't be able to see properly on camera because of how bright the outside is, but yeah, this interior is literally insane. Now, the infotainment screen, before I started the video, I was playing around with the screen, and man, oh man, it is one of the best infotainment screens I've ever interacted with. Now, Mercedes terms it their MBUX. I think it stands for Mercedes Benz User Experience, something like that. But yeah, it's insane. Look at how it has these stars right here up here. I hadn't noticed that at first, but it has all these stars at the top.
Please check your Mercedes Me settings to use online functions of the voice system.
Okay, thank you. But yeah, it also has voice function, and you can do a bunch of stuff with the voice activation and so on. Now, this is literally the home menu, and look how responsive it is. It is literally insane. Now there's a bunch of features right here which I won't be able to go through every single one of them. Now I'll start with the climate controls. The climate controls are always displayed because there are no physical buttons to do the climates, so they always have to be displayed just in case when you need them. Now this climate control system is automatic, it's dual zone, probably 4-zone. Not sure about that, but being a Mercedes Benz, I'm pretty sure it is like 4-zone. The people in the rear can have their own temperatures, the passenger can have their own temperature, and the driver can have their own. Yeah, so these are your climate controls like I already mentioned, and what I like is that they are very big, so it's easy to touch on them, it's easy to be accurate. Because they are touch, it might be distracting controlling them while driving, but because of how big they are, it makes it a lot more easier. Now you can further click into the climate menu where you can access stuff like your seat heating and your ventilation and so on, stuff that we've seen previously in, you know, cars and so on. Now I'll go back to the main menu. You have this info menu where you can see your fuel consumption. You can also click on vehicle. You can see a bunch of different information. There's also this engine menu, so if I just click engine, you can see your power and torque usage and your turbo boost pressure, so which is really cool because this is not an AMG model, but you still get these features. Usually they are reserved for the proper AMG cars. Now if I go back into home, we can go into vehicle settings. So this is where you have your assistance features like auto emergency braking, your blind spot monitorings, your basically your parking features and all those kinds of safety systems. Now if I go into vehicle, you do have some driving menus and so on. You can also check your winter tire menus. Like, there is a lot to go through here. If I go into lights, this is where you can adjust all the settings for your lights and so on, your ambient lighting as well. You can change the color. If I go to edit settings, so you have about 64 different colors, maybe even more. You can choose to have multi-colors, like at the top of the dash it could be blue, while at the bottom it could be red, or you can go monochrome and just have one single color. At the moment it has blue everywhere in the interior. So yeah, what I was saying about this video going to be long, you guys better be ready for that because there's a lot to go through. So these systems right here, yeah, no idea what that does, but there was a menu that I opened, like a seats menu. Not really sure how I can then access that. That's how I'd say complicated the system. It's not complicated in the sense that it's hard to use, but there's just a lot to go through here, so you need a lot of time to be able to work your way around it, to know specifically where everything is and so on. But maybe if I click on the comfort menu, yeah, seats, this is the menu I wanted. Seat kinetics, position seat automatically. Now this feature is very cool. As you can see up here, it says height. If you know your height, you can punch in your height, and then the seat will automatically position itself into a position that it thinks is most ideal according to your height. That is really, really cool. That is that's the menu I was looking for. So this vehicle comes as standard with the app connect features, the phone integration features, which is Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. So it comes as standard actually. So there are a lot of standard features on this car, and yeah, I wouldn't be able to go through all of those. Now down here you have a few shortcut buttons. There's a dynamic select. This is for, I have to have the vehicle on for that. So the engine is on, so that's your dynamic select. That's for your driving mode. So there's, okay, if I click it again, there's eco, there's comfort, sport, sport plus, individual, where you set up the car however way you want it and so on. There's also a fingerprint scanner, you know, you can use it, you can register your fingerprint, and then you can use that to lock some of the settings on the screen and so on, which is really cool. So it's like your mobile phone. It's like having a giant tablet right there. Now the driver screen, I can't remember what the size of the screen is, but just know that it's big, because it is big. It looks really cool. Oh, one thing I noticed about this interior, it genuinely looks like it was lifted from the flagship S-Class, because all the features here and the layout literally looks like in the S-Class. So yeah, the driver cluster screen. Now this as well, there is a lot going on. Like, there's a lot you can go through. If I click, oh, here's one thing I just remembered. The buttons on the right side of the screen help the driver control that center screen. I mean the buttons on the left. The buttons on the right side help you control this driver screen. Okay, I'm getting lost a bit, but here's the home menu for the driver screen. Now here, what you can do is select the different views for the screen. So you can go into Super Sport, which is the more aggressive, sporty look, and it looks, geez, it looks amazing. Just take a closer look, like all the graphics and the G-forces. Like, this is insane. These stuff are normally reserved for AMG models. To find it in the standard C-Class is just insane. Yeah, so if I go back to home, you can select classic, which is the classic look. If I go back into home, there's also the understand, which is a more minimalistic kind of screen, and so on. Now if you go back into home, there's also other features that you can see. You can see the assistance system, like the lane keep assists. All the information can be displayed right here, and so on. Down there you'll notice it says power and charge. We'll get into that in a bit, because that has to do with a mild hybrid system. I'll talk a little bit about that when we talk about the engines. Now you also get stuff like cruise control, but as standard, it's just the standard cruise control. You can upgrade to the adaptive one, which can do all sorts of clever things. It can automatically steer the vehicle, it can automatically change lanes, and yeah, it's just insane. You also have these seat controls, which are very interesting. Mercedes, I think they were the first to come up with these seat controls, where you have the controls on the door and they are shaped like the seats themselves. You know, they also have memory function. Now, but what I don't like is that the seat controls are no longer physical buttons, so they're sort of touch sensitive. So you kind of touch on it, the seat moves. Previously it was literally a button, you click it and the button itself moves. Now it doesn't move anymore. It's not as satisfying as when it moves. That's for me personally, but they still look cool. It's still the same system, literally. You have all these metallic touches right here on the door and also on the window controls and so on, and the materials are just insane. You have leather up here, you have leather at the top of the dashboard, and I don't think this leather is standard. Hey, I'm pretty sure it's an optional extra, but down low it's scratchy plastic. I would have preferred if it was some kind of rubbery soft touch, but it's not that bad. Even here in the middle it's a bit scratchy. I'd prefer if they did this stuff all over here. It would have been nicer, because this is soft touch and it feels really nice. But the overall interior quality is very nice. Like, I could go on forever sitting in here. This one is also optioned with the panoramic sunroof, and I really love how Mercedes does it on their sedans, the way it's double glassed. Like, you have the glass on the front and the glass on the back, and it's also touch sensitive controls for the sunroof. You just slide your finger. I'll slide it now, and I think it should close the... Ooh, that's for lifting the sunroof. Okay, let me try to slide it forward. Okay, if I slide it forward, I'm trying to close the blinds. So if you slide forward, it'll close the blinds. If the sun is too much on you, you can do that. So if I slide it back, it'll open the blinds. If I slide it back again when the blinds are open, it'll open the sunroof. Now that's pretty much all with the interior. I probably haven't covered everything because it's literally impossible. But one last thing, I really like how the spacing right here for the cup holders makes for a perfect phone stand. So you just put your phone perfectly right there, as I have my phone right now, and you can see that. So let's jump outside to talk about the engine choices and the pricing. So now the engine, this being the C200, it has a 1.5 liter 4-cylinder turbo motor pushing 150 kilowatts. There's also a small electric motor that helps boost the engine, and that adds an extra 15 kilowatts for a total of 165 kilowatts and 300 newton meters of torque. Now the transmission is a 9G Tronic. It's on a 9-speed auto gearbox, and yeah, it's just insane. So fuel consumption is rated around 6.8 liters per 100 kilometers. Acceleration times, it's about 7.3 seconds to 100 kilometers, and a top speed of about 246 kilometers an hour. Now this being a mild hybrid setup, the engine can actually cut out when you're coasting and you just coast on the electric motor alone. It also helps in boosting with torque in situations of like turbo lag and so on. So yeah, it's really insane. Now at the moment in SA we have two engine choices, the 1.5 in the C200, and you also have a diesel option in the C220D. Now this C200 has a base price of 957,000 rands, and the diesel's base price is about 1,026,000 rands. Pretty expensive, I know, but such is life. Now the C-Class is a rear-wheel drive vehicle, and that's pretty much everything with the engine specifications. Now let's go for a drive. So guys, you join me inside the W206 Mercedes Benz C-Class. One interesting thing about this vehicle is that I noticed that it doesn't start quite like a traditional car. I think it has to do with the mild hybrid assist. So I think it uses that system to kickstart the engine, which is very, very cool. It doesn't have the normal way of kickstarting an engine and so on. But yeah, we're out here in town. We're just gonna go for a quick drive, and immediately being in this vehicle feels like an occasion. Like the screens, the steering wheel, the sitting position, these seats, they actually feel more like captain's chairs. They also look like that, the way you have this kind of different integration to the headrest and so on. Okay, it's keeping the revs quite low at the moment, no idea why, but it's in second gear now. There's a lot of gears to go through, 9 gears. That's actually a lot. You can also control it using the pedals, but I'll just leave it to do its thing, because imagine going through all 9 gears and so on. But yeah, the suspension is literally out of this world. It feels, yeah, it's insane, especially compared to the previous generation. Like there is a new leap that that Mercedes has went to with this generation of C-Class. One interesting thing about the brake pedal, it's very weird to engage. It's like there's nothing, and then it gives you everything. It feels more like a very long pedal. I think that might have to do with the hybrid system again, because remember earlier in the video I showed you the meter where it says power and charge. So it has regeneration, brake regeneration. So when you apply the brakes, it uses that heat, that energy to charge up that mild battery system or the hybrid system and so on. So yeah, in exchange the brakes feel quite weird. Now let's get back into the output of the engine itself. Now remember, 165 kilowatts, that's actually a lot of power, and 300 newton meters of torque. That's literally the numbers of like a hot hatch. I think something like a GTI makes like 170 kilowatts thereabout, and yeah, 300 and something newton meters of torque. So power is a lot here. Power is no problem at all. So this is a very nice vehicle to live with on a daily basis. I can imagine, even though I'm just driving it or experiencing it for a few hours and so on. The suspension is very supple. I'll get back into that. The previous generation felt, I'd say, more on the sporty side compared to this one. Not to say that this one doesn't feel sporty, but it also feels very, very well dampened, like it's literally insane. So I think if we go to the dynamic select and try Sport Plus, which is the most aggressive mode that you get in this vehicle. It's just that this road is a bit bumpy. Actually, we'll get to a nicer stretch later. I'll go back into comfort. I was on eco by mistake. Okay, I'll drive in comfort for now because this road is a little bit bumpy and yeah, sketchy. Ooh, pops and bangs, interesting. But yeah, I mean, I think at the moment the C-Class is class leading, like what it offers. It's also the most expensive, I think, in its class. It's about 60,000 rands more expensive than like BMW 3 Series. But I mean, this interior that you get and everything else, this generation I think is or might be the best C-Class that has ever been offered, because yeah, this is literally up there with the S-Class. Like, it borrows a lot from the flagship S-Class. The interior, like I mentioned at first, I think while we're still relaxing, waiting for the road to open up a bit, we can talk, we can get back into the pricing. Now remember, I told you the base price on the C200 is about 957,000 rands. It's actually a lot of money. But one thing that's very interesting about Mercedes cars, for me personally, I feel like they stand the test of time really, really well. Like, how many of you guys watching this video have like an uncle or a grandparent who still has his old Mercedes Benz with your family and it's still running pretty well? So that's what I mean when I say they stand the test of time really, really well. And also they've proven to be quite good mechanically. Like, they can run literally forever. Now this is literally a vehicle that you can buy and it'll last you your entire lifetime. So if you look at it in that perspective, then it becomes worth it in a sense. This has nothing to do with value, because let's face it, every car depreciates. It has more to do with will the car be able to run like for the longest of time, and Mercedes-Benz cars have proven to be able to do that. One of my absolute favorite cars is the W204 generations. I still look at those cars and drool after them, you know, so it's very interesting. So I'm just gonna change my menu on the driver screen because I can't see my speed. Okay, I put it into the classic menu. So yeah, I think the W204 generation still looks good. I'm just using that as an example to show you what I mean about they stand the test of time really, really well. But back into dynamic select, Sport Plus, and yeah, I'll floor it now. It kicks down. Yeah, and it's very, very quick. The transmission is also decently quick. Like, it does what it needs to do and so on. The sound insulation is quite good. I'm having to scream a little bit because this road is a bit rough, but it deals really well with insulating the exterior noise. The tire noise isn't too harsh. I think it might have to do with the bigger 19-inch rims that you get with the AMG-Line, but it's nothing too bad. It's doable. So you can just sit back in here, relax, and just go about your business. I haven't experienced the LCI BMW 3 Series. I also haven't experienced the latest generation Audi A4. In fact, I think I've never been in any A4. Basically, I haven't experienced a lot of this car's rivals, but a couple of months ago I did a review on the pre-facelift BMW 3 Series, and yeah, this car is miles apart compared to that one, especially when it comes to tech and when it comes to ride comfort and all of that. But yeah, that is the pre-facelift, like I said, so maybe the LCI would stand a better fighting chance. So I'm not gonna take a shot at comparing them. but currently in my position, I think this is the benchmark in that segment of vehicle. It's literally next level. I can't imagine what it feels like to be able to live with this on a daily basis and so on. But yeah, let me see, am I still in sport class? Dynamic select. Okay, I was still in sport class, so I'm gonna try this curve a bit because we're currently going through a curve. Oh, the sound is also very interesting. It shifts really nice, and yeah, it falls very flat through like curves. I'm currently going through a very long curve, and you do get up to speed really quickly. Yeah, this is an insane vehicle. I would highly recommend this for anyone who is considering buying this car. It's absolutely worth all the money. I'm pretty sure if you're considering buying it, then it means you can afford it. So yeah, the price shouldn't be a problem if you can afford it. But yeah, very expensive for a reason, because all the stuff that you get in here is really insane. But I really do hope you guys enjoyed this video, and until next time, that's cheers from me.